Black just played. Knight takes a 3. Pause the video to find out White's response. On c6. White wants to play. On c7. Knight c4. King c5. Knight e3. Pawn promotes to queen at c8 and establish a winning position. Knight c4 was chosen by black. King c5. White considers playing. On c7. Knight e3. Pawn promotes to queen at c8 and dominate the board. King e5 was chosen by black. On f6. White considers playing. On f7. Knight f5. On c7. Knight b7 check. King b6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight d6 was chosen by black. On c7. Knight e4 check. King c6. White is looking to play. On f7. Pawn b4. Pawn promotes to queen at f8 and seizes the initiative. Knight takes f6 move preferred by black. Pawn promotes to queen at c8. White's idea is to play. Queen b8 check. King e4. Queen takes b5. Knight g4. Queen f4 check and seizes the initiative. On b4 White is clearly ahead. Let's go to the next game. Black played. Knight e6. Pause the video and try to find White's next move. Knight g5. White is aiming to play. Knight takes e6 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight g7 was chosen by black. Knight takes e4. King c6. King c4. Knight e8. Knight takes c5. Knight d6 check. King d3. White is preparing to play. On g7. Knight b5. Pawn promotes to queen at g8 and increase their advantage significantly. Knight e8 was chosen by black. Knight b3. Knight g7. Knight takes a 5 check. King d6. White is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. On f5. Pause the video to find out White's response. Knight takes f5. Knight c8 check. King b7. King d8. On g3. King d7. King b8. King d8. Knight d6. White is preparing to play. Knight takes c8 and increase their advantage significantly. Knight takes d6 move preferred by black. On a7. King e7. Pawn promotes to queen at a8. White is planning to play. Queen d5. Knight e8. Queen e5 check and increase their advantage significantly. Knight f5. White has a strong upper hand. Let's go to the next game. White played. On e4. Pause the video to figure out black's next move. On e5 check. King e3. On f4 check. King d3. Knight d4. Black's idea is to play. Knight e6. King c3. Knight takes c5 and take decisive advantage. King c3 was chosen by white. King c6. Black wants to play. King takes c5 and secure a strong hold in the game. King d3 was chosen by white. Knight e6. King c3. Knight takes c5. On d7. White is looking to play. Pawn promotes to queen at d8 and secure a strong hold in the game. King takes d7 was chosen by black. King b4. White has no response. Let's go to the next game. White just played. Knight b6. Pause the video to figure out black's next move. White intends to play. Knight takes d7. On f4. Knight e5. Pawn takes g3. Pawn takes g3. King e7. Knight takes c6 check. King d7. King takes d5 and gain a significant edge. Knight takes b6 move preferred by black. Pawn takes b6. King d6. King d3. On c5. King e2. King c6. On f3. King takes b6. On e4. Pawn takes f3 check. King takes f3. Pawn takes e4 check. King f4. Black is in a commanding position. Let's go to the next game. White played. On e7. Pause the video and try to predict black's next move. White is preparing to play. Pawn promotes to queen at e8 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight takes e7 move preferred by black. King takes e7. King c2. Black is looking to play. Pawn b3. Knight e6. King takes b2. Knight takes c5. King takes c3 and gain a significant edge. King d6 move preferred by white. King takes b2. Pawn takes b4. Pawn takes b4. Pawn takes b4. Pawn takes b4. King c5. Pawn c3. Black intends to play. Pawn b3. Knight e6. Pawn c2. King d5. Pawn promotes to queen at c1 and gain a significant edge. King takes b4 was chosen by white. Pawn c2. King c5. Pawn promotes to queen at c1 check. King d6. Black is clearly ahead. Let's go to the next game. Black made a move. King e6. Pause the video to spot white's next move. King c6. White wants to play. King takes c7 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight d5 played by black. On the 5. Knight b4 check. King c5. Knight d3 check. King b6. Knight b4. Pawn a6. Knight d5 check. King c5. Knight c3. Pawn a7. White is planning to play. Pawn promotes to queen at a8 and gain a significant edge. King e5 played by black. Pawn b6. Knight a4 check. King c6. White is preparing to play. Pawn b7. Knight c3. Pawn promotes to queen at a8 and secure a stronghold in the game. Knight takes b6 move preferred by black. King takes b6. King d5. Black is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. White just played. Knight takes d3. Pause the video to find out black's response. White wants to play. Knight takes e5 and take decisive advantage. Knight takes d3 played by black. King takes d3. King d5. King e3. King e5. King d3. King f4. King c4. King takes g5. King b5. On f5. King a6. On f4. King takes a5. On f3. King a6. On f2. King b6. Pawn promotes to queen at f1. Black intends to play. Queen h3. King b5. Queen takes b3 and secure a stronghold in the game. King c5. Black is dominating the board. Let's go to the next game. White just played. King f3. Pause the video to spot black's next move. Knight g5 check. King f4. Knight h3 check. King g3. King takes c6. King takes h3. Pawn b4. Black considers playing. Pawn b3. King G3. King D5. King F4. King E6. King E3. Pawn B2. King E4. Pawn promotes to rook at B1 and secure a stronghold in the game. Pawn G5 move preferred by white. King D5. King G4. King E6. Pawn G6. Pawn B3. King F4. Pawn B2. Black is planning to play pawn promotes to queen at B1 and take decisive advantage. Pawn G7 move preferred by white. White's idea is to play pawn promotes to queen at G8 check and take decisive advantage. King F7 move preferred by black. King E4. King takes G7. King E5. White is outplayed. Let's go to the next game. Black just played. King F6. Pause the video and try to predict white's next move. Black is preparing to play King takes E6 and gain a significant edge. King D5 played by white. Knight G4. King D6. White might go for Knight H5 check. King F5. Pawn E7. Knight E3. Pawn promotes to queen at E8 and establish a winning position. King G6 played by black. Pawn E7. White is setting up to play pawn promotes to queen at E8 check and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight F6 played by black. King C7. King F7. King D8. White is looking to play pawn C5. King E6. Knight E4. Knight takes E4. Pawn promotes to queen at E8 check and dominate the board. Pawn B6 was chosen by black. Knight F5. White is setting up to play knight takes H6 check and gain a significant edge. King G6 was chosen by black. Black intends to play King takes F5. King C7. King E6 and take decisive advantage. Knight E3 move preferred by white. Pawn B5. Knight G4. Pawn takes C4. Knight takes F6. King takes F6. Pawn promotes to queen at E8. White wants to play Queen E7 check. King F5. Queen F7 check. King G5. Queen takes C4 and increase their advantage significantly. On C3 black's loss is confirmed. Let's go to the next game.